Ghana wants to build a stadium shaped like its own flag. Not a metaphor. An actual star, cut into the landscape, wrapped in solar panels with a roof that slides open. It's called the Black Star Stadium, and after almost a decade of sitting on paper, it just took its first real step toward becoming something physical. So today we're breaking down what this project actually is, where it's headed, and why you should treat the phrase "under construction" with a healthy dose of skepticism for now. Before we begin, kindly subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. Let's dive right into it. Let's start with what actually happened. On July 2, 2026, Ghana's National Development Planning Commission sat down with the Western Regional Minister, Joseph Nelson, to talk about building the Black Star Stadium in the Western region. The meeting was led by the Commission's chairman, Dr. Nimwa Thompson, alongside the Director General, Dr. Audrey Smaka-Moa. That's it. That's the news. A meeting, a discussion, a formal step toward advancing a proposal that has existed in Ghana's planning documents for years. This is not a groundbreaking ceremony. There's no confirmed budget. There's no confirmed opening date. What we have is a government commission signaling that it wants to move this project from concept to reality, starting with buy-in from regional leadership. So why does this matter enough to talk about? Because of what the stadium is supposed to be, and because of what it says about how Ghana wants to grow. Start with the design. This isn't a generic bowl with a roof. The Black Star Stadium concept, first unveiled back in 2017, is shaped after Ghana's national symbol, the Black Star. Picture a structure built around that five-pointed form, each arm of the star hosting a different function. One wing built for hotel space, another for a conference center, others for offices, retail, leisure facilities, and a sports medicine center. The entire roof was designed to be covered in solar panels, feeding power back into the facility, with a sliding section that opens the stadium to the sky. Underground, planners talked about parking for up to 4,000 vehicles, with more space around the perimeter. The idea was for this building to function every single day of the year, not just on match days. Concerts, conferences, retail traffic, tourism. A stadium that pays its own electricity bill and never really goes quiet. Now here's the part that connects it to something bigger than football. The Commission's Director General called this engagement timely, saying it lines up with a national conversation happening right now about decentralizing infrastructure and easing pressure on Accra. And that's really the heart of this story. Ghana's capital has absorbed most of the country's flagship development for decades. Its stadiums, its conference facilities, its major venues, they're aging, they're overcrowded, and in some cases they're falling behind international standards. Meanwhile, the rest of the country watches from the sidelines. Putting a world-class facility in the Western region isn't just about football. It's a statement that development in Ghana doesn't have to funnel through one city. It's meant to be the opening move in a broader push to spread major infrastructure investment across the country's regions, something the Commission has tied directly to its 40-year National Development Plan. And that plan has an even bigger ambition behind it. Back when the stadium concept first surfaced, Ghanaian officials floated it as the potential flagship venue for a bid to host the FIFA World Cup, or even the Olympics, by 2038. That's not a typo. 2038. A target more than a decade away, which tells you this was always meant to be a long game. Hosting the World Cup would put Ghana in a category occupied by very few African nations. South Africa did it in 2010. Morocco has been circling the idea for years and is now formally tied into the 2030 tournament alongside Spain and Portugal. If Ghana wants in on that conversation, it needs venues that meet FIFA's minimum standards, and right now, it doesn't have them. Which brings us to the skepticism, because you should have some. When this concept first went public in 2017, critics pointed out a real problem. As originally sized, the Black Star Stadium wouldn't have met FIFA's capacity requirements for a World Cup final, and possibly not even for group stage matches. Hosting a World Cup needs a minimum of 8 stadiums, most with capacities well above 40,000 seats. One striking building in the Western region doesn't solve that math on its own. There's also Ghana's more recent track record with stadium infrastructure to think about. In the last couple of years, CAF, African football's governing body, pulled its approval from some of the country's existing venues, including the Baba Yara Sports Stadium in Kumasi and the Cape Coast Stadium, over conditions that fell short of international standards. Ghana's national team ended up leaning on the Accra Sports Stadium instead, and that facility only kept its approval after months of renovation work. So the country is currently dealing with a shortage of internationally compliant venues at the same time it's discussing plans to build one of the most ambitious stadiums on the continent. Those two realities exist side by side, and it's worth sitting with that contrast rather than skipping past it. None of this means the project is dead on arrival. Big infrastructure ambitions often start exactly this way, with planning documents, ministerial meetings, and years of quiet groundwork before a single foundation is poured. Ghana's 40-year development plan was always designed to play out in stages, and getting regional buy-in from the Western region is a real, necessary step, even if it isn't a dramatic one. What matters now is what comes next. A confirmed budget. A construction timeline. A finalized design that actually meets international capacity standards. Until those show up, the Black Star Stadium remains what it's been for years. One of the most visually striking stadium concepts on the continent, and one of the least confirmed. So keep an eye on this one. If Ghana can turn this from a planning document into steel and concrete, it would be a genuine statement piece for West African infrastructure, and a serious marker on the road toward a 2038 World Cup bid. But for now, the honest headline isn't that Ghana is building the best stadium in Africa. It's that Ghana is talking seriously about starting to